This is Brunch, Blaze, and Bap,
where we eat, elevate, and talk about
media trends from the past,
the present,
and the future
from a Black perspective.
I'm your host, Roger Turner.
And I'm your host, Alexis Bertrand.
So sit back,
spark up,
and let's get into it. Hey, Alexis.
Hey, Roger, baby. How you doing?
How you doing all the way from Harlem? You're not in the same room with me.
I miss you so much, baby.
I'm so glad you called me and told me you weren't feeling well because my good sis was about to sweat out some sickness and get on the train. He was going to come all...
not about to be in no studio with me.
He was about to come all the way from Canada. If you're a Brooklynite, you refer to Harlem and the Bronx as Canada. But
ooh, I'm over you. Ooh. How you know I'm not feeling well?
This is what we do. So I'm glad you were able to join us anyway.
I had to join you. So, friends, right? I am at home. You can kind of hear it in my voice. I'm getting over a little sickness. And my beautiful co-host here, Roger Turner, and his amazing tech self, figured it out. So he's in Brooklyn today, and I'm in Canada. Not Canada. I'm so bad for that. But it's also smart. I also want to point this out that this is smart for us when we're post-pandemic. And of course, the last thing I would ever want to do is jeopardize the health and wellness of my beautiful friend.
I love you.
I'm so glad that we get to still do this as I get to still recover. So,
all right, well,
we still got an episode ready for y'all.
Let's go. So, how was your brunch?
Okay, so because I am not feeling that well, my brunch has been limited to soup, but I got to be honest, it has been the best. It's chicken noodles, and this one actually was homemade, and my partner does this really great. He like pressure cooks the chicken.
Ooh.
And then he'll like put all these kind of crazy spicy seasonings into the chicken with the broth, and there's like these really great.
Oh, he sounds like my
tricolor
soup.
Noodles.
I'll make a good soup too.
Okay, come on. We could do a soup off, right? He throws the carrots and jam. So that's what I've been brunching on, and it's been serving my soul.
That sounds delicious.
What you been doing?
I ate at home. I've been doing a lot of salads lately.
Okay, come through salad.
And I like good, like a bunch of different raw vegetable salads. Yeah. So I had some red cabbage, some beets, some spinach, purple carrots.
Ain't nobody got time for iceberg. You are okay.
A little bok choy.
A little bok choy.
Yeah, I cut up everything. Some little.
Oh, you all culture.
So
what kind of dressing we doing?
I make my own dressing. If you believe it or not.
Lord Jesus, I can't with you. All this multifaceted, talented is.
I made my own light creamy Italian at home.
Oh, light creamy Italian. I ain't even gonna touch that one. It's too touch that one. Make your own light creamy Italian.
I'm sure you've touched it before. Especially a creamy Italian.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. It's a holy day. Don't you do me like that. Y'all hear him? Okay, with his brunches, y'all hear this?
So how high are you?
Well, okay. So let me qualify this. I am very high. So before I got onto this,
I'm
on all the medicine, okay?
All the medicine.
I'm on the day quills, all the quills.
That will do it. That'll definitely do it.
And then I had a little tea prior to this meeting. So I can't tell you from what I'm high from, but
yeah.
We up there, baby.
That makes sense. I've been there before. Remind me to tell you a story about the time my aunt OD'd on NyQuil.
Oh Lord. That's a different podcast. Not OD.
We found her sprawled out in the middle of the living room.
Should be laughing at this.
We've been laughing about it for years.
Why she's sprawled out?
We laugh about it like every Thanksgiving. Trust me, my mom and I laugh about that like every Thanksgiving.
I'm already in tears. Oh, bless her heart. Not auntie.
But so number, a scale of 1 to 10, how high are you?
It's a hieroglyphic at this point.
It's a hieroglyphic? I think I am at about an 8. Because
we in trouble. This whole episode of trouble. If you had an 8, and I don't even know where the hell
I'm at an 8. I mean, I've run the show on an 8.5, 9.
You run that show on a 9, and it's been
and we've been all right. Yeah, I'm about an 8. I'm about an 8. I had some more sweet tea because it was just good, and I just didn't have a lot of time.
Because Roger don't do nothing. He don't buy nothing.
Yeah, I had a few sweet tea. Sure don't.
Roger turn his sweet tea. Roger turn his light creamy Italian.
I can't stand you. Tell us let's get into it. Tell me what we talking about today.
Okay, y'all. So let's get into it. So we are in our award season. Like we said on the Black in Memoriam episode, right? It's the kickoff to the award season, and we are into it. So with that being said, the 76 Emmys just passed. And as usual, y'all, the show is filled with lots of cheers, some jeers, a few WTF moments, and a healthy dose of problematic shit.
Oh, yeah. It's the Emmys,
in the case of the Emmys, a major problem we see here on Brunch, Blaze, and Babble, it sits right in that television comedy category. So for context, we're going to go back to the episode. If you go back to the episode of
Examining the Gap.
Right. We're going to do a deep dive in the quote-unquote dramedy problem at the Emmys and how it affects the nominees. We are going to review the who and tell what we think who did win and who should have won and all the stuff in between. And of course, in the immortal words of Issa Rae, we rooting for everybody black.
We were rooting.
Always.
Because that's what we do. You remember how much trouble she got in for saying that?
Like, I couldn't put, yes.
And people were mad. And she was like, I don't care. I'm going to double down. I said what I said.
We're going to triple down.
Yeah.
That is not to say, right? And that is never to say that we ain't rooting for, in our case, queer people come through, honey. Women come through. Any marginalized representation, get up there and do your thing.
We want all the things. And like, we just don't want to sit up and have to keep awarding the things that we've been forced to watch for decades on end.
How about that? And that's why, and that really is at the heart of, if we could just say really quickly, why we're rooting for everybody black. It is not just for black's sake, but it is just for black's sake. Like there's something in there. So I want people, when they hear that, if you get out your feelings and get out your ego and understand that there's something very deep rooted in that.
I think I want to get away from, well, you know what? Before I even do that, let's just get on into it and let's start something.
Okay.
Oh. Pull back the curtain. Let's go ahead and pull back the curtain because
Roger, pull it back for us.
Because I think what we need to remember is that yes, the Emmy Awards was never for us. It wasn't created for us. However,
drop the mic right there. Drop it right there.
However, and I understand that we should not expect it to award us the way we should properly be awarded. Because it was never designed to celebrate us. It was supposed to celebrate, the industry of what it was at that time.
Yeah.
However, in the present day, with the amount of involvement of people of color in the television industry and what we've contributed to the arts, and that the Emmys puts itself as presenting or awarding the outstanding material and artists of television. And if they're going to make that statement, I think it's all of our job in the culture to hold it accountable.
Period. You can't say like you're looking for these dynamic characters and these dynamic stories, and then we present them to you. But because they are packaged and housed in blackness or brownness or an otherness, it's like, well, that's not good enough. And that is absolute garbage.
It's not good enough. And I don't want to hear the excuse that because it is clothed and housed in the lives of people of color that white audiences aren't going to be interested, as if there wasn't a whole period of time when all of America was tuning into the Cosby Show.
Right. And we ain't said nothing when y'all had us watching Little House on the Prairie.
Okay, and for
right.
weeks
and we was
at
watching
a
Little House
time.
on the Prairie.
There are plenty of white fans that loved not only The Cosby Show, but also A Different World.
A Different World.
We have to stop pretending like the entire world did not tune in every afternoon to Oprah Winfrey for 25 years. So don't tell me that white audiences aren't interested in Black stories. We can be authentic stories and they can appeal to all audiences, period.
Absolutely.
So let's get into the Emmys. Let's talk about the things.
So, all right, so we're going to talk about the Emmys. So y'all, we have broken up this conversation into 4 different categories.
Yeah, I think that's a good run. We could go.
I think it's a good run.
Go through that.
Favorite moments. So a few of your favorite moments.
Give me you want to start off? You want to give me one?
I don't mind. Okay, so I know this is probably gonna come up later, but one of my favorite moments of the Emmys was I know some reviewers gave this segment shit when they were doing like the TV moms and the TV dads and the TV villains. But the optics of it is what I love the most, seeing all these different cast of characters. So I love the one when they had like the TV lawyers, right? So you have Viola Davis, Gina Torres, and Christine, I'm gonna get her name wrong, Baranski, I think that's what it is.
Baranski.
Thank you. And so, but looking at them, like they're all TV lawyers.
Because an awards of like 30 years ago would have had television actors that represented lawyers. They all would have all been white men.
They were all have been white men. And here's 3 dynamic women of different representations. And I thought, when are you ever going to really see that?
Right. So hopefully from now on.
Hopefully from now on. So even though I know it wasn't connected to the award, I thought it was really, really cool that they did that. I love seeing all of them, TV doctors, dads, villains. I thought it was great. I thought it was perfectly done. And if it just didn't connect, then that didn't make it a bad moment in my mind.
Okay.
It just got me thinking, like, when else am I going to see this cohort of people together? So that's actually one of my favorite moments. I actually liked it a lot. And the one that I mentioned with Viola Davis, Viola, Gina, and Christine was like one of my favorites because I love a good TV lawyer boo. Okay. So yeah. What about you?
Okay, so I'm going to start from the top of the show. So
we're going from the top.
From the top of the show, literally right out the gate. Like, award shows don't do well with hosts all the time. Like, it's hard. Like, award shows tend to be boring because there's all these forced like jokes amongst people that haven't met each other before and like try to make this stuff. But the hosts, Eugene and Dan Levy, were very good. I think their banter, father and son, was sweet. It was endearing. It was very funny. And I loved how they didn't pull away from like pointing out the kind of like weird stuff that's been happening at the Emmys. They definitely poke fun at the fact that The Bear is not a comedy.
At all.
They did a full read on Reservation Dogs nomination. Dan Levy talks about how the show was already successful for 2 seasons before the Emmys finally like gave it a nomination. And he said, leave it to an organization like the Emmys to take something that's already been successful and run by people of color and say they discovered it.
Oh, that makes more sense. Oh, yeah.
And I was like, work. How appropriate, especially talking about a show that has an all-indigenous cast. I feel like Dan and Eugene Levy did a great balance. The humor and also like the social commentary, and really, I don't think the show ever gets hosted well unless the people that are hosting it really love television.
Okay, so let me ask, do you think that the nepotism of it all, don't get me wrong, I love the Levys. I thought they were perfect. I honestly think y'all should just bring them back.
Absolutely.
I just also wonder how like I feel sometimes when we don't like siblings who are in Hollywood, like then we throw in the nepotism thing. And then when we do like people who are related, it's like.
Well, listen, this is my thing. I think it comes down to us dealing with the idea that talent can be genetic. And I can appreciate it when nepotism lives up to his reputation. Like Dan Levy is a very talented actor, comedian. So I do like that this form of nepotism works. I just don't want the nepotism to feel like a waste of everybody's time and money.
I hear you.
Don't give me a brand new movie with Clint Eastwood's son. And I was like, why are we watching this?
Oh, yeah, I know.
I was like, he's not good. This is not.
At all. He dry like watching paint dry.
I was like, you didn't pick it up. You picked up the looks. You look like your daddy.
I mean, you just stay in some print ads, girl.
Going back to the smaller dude.
Kiddo clothes still a thing?
Because I don't want this anymore.
You know what? I absolutely agree. And I just wanted us to take a second to address that part of it.
But give me another favorite moment of yours.
Okay, so another favorite moment. I'm mad at this at all. So when John Leguizamo got up there and said what he had to say.
Oh, yeah.
And talk about how y'all only wanted to show us up in negative Latino stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
And how he grew up not seeing much of himself. And when he did, they were in these really ugly, horrific roles, and how far he has worked to champion just positive Latino representation in film and TV and have it be recognized. And so I appreciated them giving that as much space as that did. It didn't feel like a one-off. It felt like a center stage moment. This is a segment, and we're going to talk about this. And particularly given when the award show aired, right? We are coming right up on Hispanic Heritage Month. Like, it was right there. And I just thought that was
well, I think it was also great and important to recognize that, like, as a part of his speech, there was the introduction of Chris Obrego, who is the new CEO and president of the Television Academy. He definitely put forth that in his new presidency, he is planning on putting forth a new effort to make sure that the Emmys is as diversified as the landscape is, and, made a call for television to diversify and make stories more representative of what the rest of our country looks like.
Of the people who are watching them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the people who want to be. I just thought that was such a really powerful moment. They let that segment breathe.
Mm-hmm.
It was on its own. There was a little bit of humor to kind of break up the tension. And then it was set by itself. And I just felt like I have seen some moments like this in award shows where they'll do something like this and they're like, okay, and on to the next award. Mm-hmm. They'll have the same person who says, we are here and we believe in equality and diversity, blah, 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 blah. And now here's the award for it. Like, it literally becomes like an attachment.
It's like a little blurb rather than an actual statement of
like a moment.
We're going to change culture. Like, it's I felt that from that whole exchange with John's speech and with Chris Obrego. I think that was a clear and honest. Well, it felt genuine. I don't know if it was honest, but it felt genuine.
It did feel genuine. So it was really one of my favorite moments. What you got? You got any more?
I got another favorite moment. So one of my favorite moments was the acceptance speech of Lisa Colón-Zayas, I believe.
Oh, for the bear?
For the bear. As much as I have issues around that show, like, the woman deserves an award. She was very good. I really appreciated her role. I thought she was great. And then just her emotion and the things that she said. I thought it was just really beautiful acceptance speech. So it was one of my favorites because I was rooting for her.
Yes. And the compliment to that, Lamar Morris winning.
Yeah. So he absolutely, like, I don't know if you saw his season of Fargo.
I didn't.
He was great.
Was he? Because I was such a fan since New Girl.
He was really good. He was really good.
I think he was genuinely, at least from the way I looked at the video, he looked genuinely like shocked. Like, oh, I won that?
Oh, yeah. He looked shocked because, like, his category was fucking stacked. He was up against, like, Jonathan Bailey, Robert Downey Jr. Yeah.
Williams, who is a TV darling.
Tom Goodman Hill. Like, He was up against some powerhouses. Yeah.
Oh, he really was.
Yeah. And I was really surprised at his surprise. Like I saw how like he felt like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I went over these guys.
It was so innocent and cute.
It was sweet. But he deserved it. It was a great performance.
He did.
It was a great performance.
Okay, so let's move on, if we will, to our questionable moments.
I had some questions. Yeah,
you right? Just a couple questions.
There was some weird stuff going on.
Like, I don't understand. You want to start this one?
Yeah. So there's a moment where I believe is Eben Moss.
Oh, Backrack.
Eben.
I know exactly.
Eben Moss
right
Backrack. Here. He's sitting at a bar. And his co-presenter walks up and asks him, "Hey, I've been looking for you. What's going on? Where you been?" And I was like, what is we doing? What is happening right now?
I didn't get any of that. I thought it was a commercial at first.
It exactly was a commercial. I forgot what the liquor was, but
Johnny Walker.
Oh, it was Johnny Walker. That's right. They were doing a Johnny Walker commercial in the middle of the Emmys. That's what it was. And it was so weird and like obvious. Like he was like, "Oh, I'm going to have a glass of Johnny Walker, blah, blah, blah." He was like, "Oh, don't worry. It's safe to do it right before we present." And then just as they're about to drink, they're called to present. And then they take this long ass walk from the bar to the mic. And I'm like, did y'all really just do that?
It didn't make any damn sense to me.
Listen, I hope y'all got paid a lot of money for that because, honey, that was trash. That did not make me want to go buy Johnny Walker. I didn't even remember it was Johnny Walker until you said it.
I mean, just because I was like, oh, I remember looking at this. I looked back. I was like, oh, man, I wish I had me some because, a little sip while I'm watching the show. It would be real, real cute.
And then you're like,
they kept going. It just didn't make no damn sense to me. Like,
I was like, apparently this has been done before, but I don't remember it ever happening.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, I'm reading in some posts that like this has happened before, and I was like, they must have done it better than this because I don't remember it.
Yeah, that was.
It was weird. So what else you got? What you got? What was the?
So okay, other questionable moments. So okay, the one thing with John Oliver, like, okay,
John Oliver, the
host of Last Week Tonight.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He was, I don't know if he thought, I
don't remember his acceptance. Tell me.
So he was going off about the dog. Like because I think he was.
Oh, his dog passed away.
Wrong. He was super excited. I don't know if he thought he was going to win, but I just thought like they started playing them off. And then he just started like throwing jokes. And then they like kind of like let it go. And so when it gets questioned, and maybe it's not just him, it's just like he was allowed to get played off. They died it down. He made some more comments and then they kept playing him off again. And it's like, I didn't see that same courtesy like for anybody else. And so that always irritates me.
I don't think they give them the courtesy. I think just what happens is that I don't think they're cutting them off anymore. Because remember in the day, the mic would just stop working.
Yeah, but they would just play you off. But
they played you up, but the mic would stop.
That's true.
And they would turn the mic off. I think the difference is that this white man had the audacity to just keep going back to the mic.
And then he was cursing.
And I think the other people that wanted to go on was just like, they self-monitored and was like, you know what? I'm going to be respectful of the other people around me. I know I want to keep going. They are playing me off. And like they took the cue of the being played off and walked away, where John Oliver did not take his cue.
I just think I think he was allowed to just have that. And I'm like, I don't really care for that.
Yeah.
Because that shit ain't equitable.
I think they need to go back to cutting off the mic.
Okay. So,
they need to go back to cutting off the mic. They need to go back.
Talking about dogs. Yeah. Like, I'm glad he won. I've seen his show. I don't mind it.
And I was like,
it's not even John Oliver. Maybe it's the privilege of it all that I have an issue with.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening, is that he didn't think about his privilege at that point in time. Was just like, I won this award. This is my moment. I'm going to take my moment.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And did not think about the other people that are there in the room. Like, we gave you 2 minutes, sir. Okay, so I know you enjoyed this moment, this thing that was happening where they were kept showing us these different TV doctors and TV lawyers and TV dads and all these different things. And I just felt like, so what you're reminding us is that after we're at the 76th Emmy and we're still doing the same things on television over and over and over and over again, is that we have not found a way to create new types of television. That we have we can have people on stage that have been on television 10, 15, 20 years apart, and they all played the same type of role. So that's what we want to celebrate? Great. Good for you.
Okay, I hear that. Okay, I hear that.
That kept annoying the fuck out of me. Ooh.
Right. So clearly they lost you on that segment with the damn TV.
I mean, well, that was my not so favorite moments, but there's some other things that lost me.
So
but
where they lost me.
Uh-huh.
I've only got two. Where they lost me, one, I'm gonna bring up in memoriam. Did you notice they were missing anybody? Because I always do this. I love a good in memoriam, but
who was missing? Who's
girl? I did not see Shelley Duvall up there.
Shelley Duvall,
olive oil. There was a few ladies that I was looking for. But I don't know if she was on there.
Oh.
I didn't see her.
Well,
they have my girl from Superman. What's her name? Not Margot Robbie. Lord Jesus.
Okay, yeah. So there were two people that were Shelley Duvall and Joe Flaherty were two notable omissions.
Margot Kidder. That's what I was looking for.
From tribute.
I didn't know I don't know who's Joe Flaherty.
Joe Flaherty, two-time.
I didn't know him, but I knew I didn't see olive oil because I was looking for her.
Well, I think a lot of people are making the argument that she was omitted because she wasn't really a television actor. She was a film actor. However, she has 2 Emmy nominees that were kind of forgotten from children's TV.
If she was nominated for an award, I'm done. I don't want to hear that. That's where they lost me.
She was nominated. She was a 2-time nominee who she produced children's TV shows, including Fairy Tale Theater. Yeah, so her Emmy nominations were not as an actress. Her Emmy nominations were in the creative Emmys for I think that's what they are making. She should have been included, but people are making the argument that she was forgotten as a television actress because she wasn't an she wasn't a television actress. She was a film actress.
That's where they lost me. Okay, so where they lose you?
So they lost me on the comedy nominations.
Yo, here we go.
They lost me on these comedy nominations.
What is it?
Me and the rest of the world, because there's been a huge debate on the Emmy category this year. So for Outstanding Comedy Series, pretty much most of the major shows, the ones that have been winning the past couple of years, I think Bear won Best Outstanding Television Show. The Bear won last year, and this year Hacks won. So the problem is that amongst the shows that have been nominated, The Bear, I did not laugh at. I
don't get how that's a damn comedy.
I watch it's a comedy because they say they're a comedy, and that unfortunately,
no, they don't. You look up The Bear online; it say drama.
No. They have deemed themselves as a comedy. It may be changing itself to the drama category next year, but they have always pushed themselves as drama comedy.
Drama, comedy. We're gonna talk about some serious shit, but every now and again you're gonna laugh.
Yes, they think they're a dramedy. And hey, listen, Hacks won, but I think it's only called a comedy because it's about a comic. It's a pretty dramatic series.
So I don't get this. I feel like there's such an identity crisis.
I think if you think about shows like Abbott Elementary,
thank you.
Even
What We Do in the Shadows,
even What We Do in the Shadows, Palm Royal, like these are comedies. These they were giving me jokes. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like they're giving me jokes. Reservation Dogs is hella funny.
Is it?
It is hilarious. It is hilarious.
What you're telling me is that this damn show is winning for these dramas
because they're a really good show.
What they are. They're dramas.
They're dramas. But then I feel like it's also been kind of a smart move for the FX network because if I'm correct, the winner of the drama category is Shogun. And Shogun cleaned plenty. First season, and before the Emmys started that night, they had already won 20, I think it's 20-something Emmys before that Emmy show.
Started Shogun.
FX is the network for both The Bear and for Shogun. So I think FX was trying to do a good move to make sure they get double.
I see. So they didn't like cannibalize. What's that called? Cannibalize themselves? Like
they want to make sure they get double the Emmys. They didn't want to lose an Emmy, so they put The Bear in.
They probably told the writers, put a little laughter.
Well, I think the writers think that this show is funny. I've heard from more than one person from the Midwest, like, yeah, I understand why people don't think it's funny, but I also understand why some of us that are from like the Chicago Midwest area, why we think it's funny. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know what y'all are laughing at out there, but don't get me wrong. I thought The Bear was a very entertaining show. It has a great cast. I really enjoyed the series. I feel like it deserves an Emmy, but I don't think it's in the right category. And if it were in the drama category against Shogun, no, it would not have gotten any Emmys.
Because Shogun is delicious.
It wouldn't have won. But my problem with that whole issue is that here we are looking at best outstanding supporting actress in a comedy series. I'm glad Lisa Colón-Zayas won an Emmy. She deserves an Emmy. However, Janelle James has been killing television comedy since the moment she hit Abbott Elementary. And I'm telling y'all, like, this woman deserves an Emmy. Like, I don't understand why she doesn't have 2 Emmys right now.
She should be sitting on 2.
Right. And like, I was worried because she's in the category with Carol Burnett and Meryl Streep were both nominated in that same category.
Which is insane.
And Meryl was in the wrong category because I was like, y'all are cheating. Y'all just want an extra category because
why we gotta add Meryl?
Because Meryl Streep really should have been best guest actress in a comedy series.
Absolutely.
Because she's not usually on that show. However, she was on the entire season of this last season, but she's not a regular cast member of Only Murders in the Building. So I don't know if she belonged in that best supporting actress category. She didn't win, however. And I feel like the same thing for Carol Burnett in and Palm Royal. Carol Burnett was great, and she made me laugh in that series. But
she wasn't all in there like that.
That's what you said. She could just sit there. That's what she did for most of the series, though. Because sis had about 7 lines in the entire series.
Right, but she had 17 minutes of screen time.
But she was on there sitting around making faces. I was
tugging on her ear of her.
I was like, "Come on, Carol." Yeah, I felt like shows like Abbott Elementary really got robbed from all the awards that it really deserved again this year. I mean, yes, they won last year, but it doesn't mean they don't deserve to win again this year because they were incredible.
How many times they were awarding Sex in the City and and Friends.
And then we have
but I'm saying like Abbott has been consistent since it dropped,
and then
through the pandemic, through the writer's strike. It is, these people have shown up and they continue a level of excellence. That's why I'm like, how is this show not winning?
And that whole idea and that whole thing with the bear still bothers me because it also robs Tyler James Williams of his Best Supporting Actor Emmy. Like he deserved a Best Supporting Actor. Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. Went to Eben Moss-Bachrach, who is very good in The Bear as Richie. Like he gives an incredible performance in that last season. However, it was a dramatic performance. It was not a comedy performance to me. I was lost. I was like,
but I didn't think the lady we just mentioned, Lisa Colon-Zayas, I didn't really get comedy out of her performance.
No, neither one of their performances were comedy.
You know what I mean?
They were great performances, but they weren't comedy performances to me.
It's almost like in order to be a drama to get in the drama category, you have to be like downtrodden and deep, heavy emotion from start to finish.
And I feel like we have lost the idea of what a dramedy is. I think The Bear is using the dramedy title in order to just rack up more awards.
I agree.
Yeah, because it was an unfair comparison of these shows because they're like shows that like stick with you because of the level of the drama, but it's not a funnier show than Abbott Elementary. It wasn't a funnier show.
Not nearly as funny.
Yeah,
and I would say that, but I think to your point, they would make an argument. Well, it's not supposed to be. But I can't look at this as a comedy. And
if it's not supposed to be, then it's not supposed to be in the comedy category, hon.
And thank you. And I think it shortchanges the art of comedy. I think the people who are really out to make you laugh and make you embrace that, it's an art form, just like a drama, just like a dramedy. But I think it's more distinct than that. So the fact that this is kind of getting watered and washed away, it's disrespectful to me. To like the work that people are putting into like Abbott, into like what we do in the shadows and Palm Royale. Like we are trying to make you laugh. Like we are thinking about this. To me, that
and like still giving you a quality drama, because you can still give me this quality dramatic story and make it funny
all the way through. Like, yeah,
you could do it.
I don't know if you have to like time the laughs or I don't know how.
There's a show that's doing it very well right now that I can talk to you about it later. But yeah, it can be done. It can be done. It can be done well. Yeah, so that was my questionable, like, what are y'all doing? Like, why is this here? Like, they lost me on this. I was like, I'm not there for this. I don't want any of this.
The last one, okay, here's where they lost me. And I think it's kind of into a trend, and this probably can go right into our last segment. But the last thing I want to say is I get tired of seeing, so the Gene Smart of it all, it's like, it's like, sometimes I feel like, and we love these people, but when we don't want to award someone who we think really, truly deserves it, and most likely at that moment, I'm not going to lie, these performances that these people of color have been putting out are just exceptional, but we'll go ahead and give it to this great white actress who is like beloved, like you can't say anything against. Like, I have nothing wrong with, I love Jean Smart.
She's a television legend. Yeah, absolutely.
And at the same time, and I'm glad that she won, but at the same time, she reminds me of like when I've seen this before.
Like, I love Jean Smart. However, I don't believe that Hacks is also as much of a comedy. I think the fact that it is about a comedian is what makes it a comedy, but as it being a comedy series, I think it's more dramatic than it is a comedy. For me, it's not skating the line of dramedy well for me. So
it's not. Yeah. So for those of us who are looking at like Quinta Brunson, again, like she's writing and she's performing, she's doing great. So she doesn't win. Like Maya Rudolph.
Yeah, like, this is the second time they have ignored Maya Rudolph on this.
Who is insanely talented.
Lute does evenly skate the line of dramedy. Like there are some dramatic like themes in this series, Lute, but it's a funny show. It's hilarious.
People who put in the time and the work as well, who do not get as much accolades or recognition, they'll put somebody like Gene Smart up there, and we just have like, oh, but it's Gene Smart.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's this other. Oh, it's Meryl
I get it.
Streep.
I hear
So
you.
I hear you. I'm just kind of tired of that.
Yeah, it does. It's called like Legacy Awards is what they are nicknaming it. Like trying to give an artist an award they probably deserved a long time ago, but whatever.
Whatever. So let's wrap this up with a hope that we have for the Emmys.
You go first. What you got?
So my hope is I want the Emmys, going back to what our new president has said, I want them to start acknowledging other stories. I would like to see a variety in that. And I say that because not only is the Emmys great to look at the accolades, but it also helps bring in new audiences. We also lean on these award shows to be like, hey, you should check this out because we've watched this and we deem this worthy of an award nomination because of its uniqueness and all its complexities, and we think you should check this out. So if we only keep awarding and nominating shows that telling the same damn story, then we're never ever going to see anything different.
Got it.
And I feel like that is a responsibility to this organization, is to show us the best of the best, and the best of the best deserves to be varied.
Right. I agree with you. I feel like that is my hope as well, is that the new president, Chris Obrega, really is authentic in his want for using the Academy to encourage the industry to diversify its storytelling. The winner of Best Anthology Series, Baby Reindeer.
We did not talk about Baby Reindeer in all of this.
Have you seen it?
We did not talk about Baby Reindeer this whole time.
Well, it wasn't. It's not a comedy, but it was one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite nominations. It was one of my favorite.
Y'all should brunchers. If you have not checked out Baby Reindeer,
if you have not seen Baby Reindeer, it's a hard watch. It's a difficult watch, baby. Yeah, but there is nothing on television like it.
It will sit with you.
It will sit with you. But it had its funny moments. It had its dramatic moments. It definitely. It wasn't engaged. It's on Netflix. I had to finish it. I burned through it.
They're very compelling.
And I love that in his acceptance speech, he said, I want the television industry to start investing in stories that they've never told before. Yeah. Ways that they never told it. And that it's okay to take a risk on something that is not an archetype of something that's already been on television.
He said it just like that.
Yeah, too. He was like, it's great to take a risk because at the root of it, what makes it good television is good storytelling. And that's the problem. I feel like yes, there are a lot of cop shows. I'm not a fan of them. And yes, people should have them. But the amount of cop shows that we have are there because TV execs refuse to greenlight new things and other types of storytelling because they were worried, because they look at the numbers around cop shows and, people love these. So I'm going to greenlight this other one. And yes, there's 4 CSIs, but let's do 7 of them.
Yes.
Instead of greenlighting different types of, that's the things that, and instead of greenlighting a bunch of different types of shows. So that's my hope, is that we'll start looking at more shows and more things of diversity. I want them to clear up this dramedy situation.
The dramedy comedy thing, yes.
Because there are shows out there that are doing it well. I don't know if you started watching How to Die Alone with Natasha Rothschild.
No, I just checked out that
girl.
Is she good?
It dropped with 4 episodes. Yeah, it gave you good 4 episodes right away.
I love that.
It starts with a bang, honey. She knows how to write a show, and it keeps you engaged right away. It's dramatic. It's a serious. I just
saw a little bit on YouTube. Where that streaming on?
It's on Hulu. It
That's
has,
where it is.
yeah,
Okay.
it has serious plot lines. It has a lot.
Plot lines.
It has a lot of seriousness in it. There's some drama, but it is still fucking funny because it's Natasha Rockwell. How can you?
That's true.
Rothwell. Did I say Rockwell? Jesus. I'm high.
The highest. Boo-hoo.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there are shows that are skating the dramedy line really well. And I think we need to do... The Emmys needs to do something around those categories. And
you know
how
what? That would be really interesting to see. Best dramedy.
Yeah,
that would be really
the Emmys. Yeah, the Emmys need to either come up with another category, or the Emmys needs to start figuring out how to monitor who's applying for what. There is no regulation around it. So, the dramedy situation I want to figure, and I just want more new shows to come out. I want
stories that they have.
I want a diversify. Yes, Nava Mao was like the first trans woman to be nominated for Emmy for Baby Reindeer. However, Michaela Jai Rodriguez,
MJ,
has been out here with 2 series under her belt. And this other show in Loot, she's really funny. I did not know she was this funny. We need more shows, diversity, so we can watch these, because I am really getting tired of like what's coming out. So my husband and I, just quick tangent, my husband and I have been trying to watch new queer content. Because we had a lot of great shows in 2023 and 2022. Mm-hmm. And so I've been looking like best LGBTQ like media lists and trying to get lists. And as I'm looking at this list, they may have like 50 or like 30 or 20 shows that are like LGBTQ essentials. And on each one of these lists, they don't have more than 2 or 3 shows that are going to continue throughout 2024.
Wow.
There is not a lot of new
10% of the shows are just going to continue.
Yeah, there's not a lot of new queer content coming into the ether in 2024. I think
even though I did see a promo for Noah's Ark coming back.
Yes, like that's coming, but that wasn't even on the list. Like it's still in pre-production. Like it's they're like they're in table reads. Like it's not even as a part of the thing that we know that's coming. They haven't even filmed like episode 1 yet. So that's going to be a while before we get to see that.
Well, Heartstoppers can't hold me over now.
Well, Heartstoppers is coming. That's one of the 2. Heartstoppers is coming October 3rd. Their season 3 is coming.
That's one of the 2. Oh, Lord.
That is one of the 2. The other one's like RuPaul's Drag Race.
Shut up. No, that's it, girl. Because at one point, that's all we had. Mm-hmm. All we had was Noah's Ark and RuPaul's Drag Race. And that was the only thing on television.
And it feels like we're going back to that.
And it feels like we're going, that's crazy.
It feels like we're going back to that. I can't find new queer television and film. And like, I'm like, what is coming out? Are you telling me nothing new and queer? Like, brunchers, if I'm wrong, send me some information.
I'm going to go look this up as soon as we get off.
Send me some things, but my research is telling me I don't see any new queer content that's coming to television or film.
And you know what that means? And because we're coming from the Black queer perspective, that's always the worry in the back of our minds, is that if we do get new queer content, it won't be Black and brown.
Right. Right.
It'll be problematic.
And then,
that's what we're nervous
and
about.
And that's the thing that I'm nervous about, is that like, we're not going to get, like, there's not a huge landscape of queer content. I mean, unless you count Ryan Murphy, and somebody needs to control Ryan Murphy.
You better go ahead now.
Somebody's got to control Ryan Murphy. Like, there's a lot going on. So I think this is enough for today. I think we had a great conversation. How do you feel?
I'm feeling good. So, baby, look, keep on listening and keep watching stuff. So the biggest thing that we pointed out was like watching stories that haven't been told before. So go out and pick you up something and cue you up something that you haven't watched before as we go through this award season, and share it with us on our social medias. You know, I'm at The Art of Squid. And you are at?
Oh, I am 1906 Choir Boy on all socials. Dang, I'm high.
You are high, but it's all okay, baby. So listen, y'all, be good and be good at it.
And I appreciate you, and I think you are wonderful, and you are enough just as you are. Y'all have a good one.
Bye.